Right
And
there. Yes.
yeah, we're also asking you to post things on your social media networks, right? Let them know that clean slate needs to be passed right now, and then we are going to end the perpetual punishment of people who have the conviction records. Now, out of that 2.3 million, I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm one of those 2.3 million people who was faced with barriers because of an old conviction record. So I mean, and even today, it still bothers me. It still affects me on so many different levels. If I try to get a loan, if I try to get a new job, if I try to get a new house, everything, these records come up.
Real talk.
The clean slate legislation would seal a person's records, but not immediately. But a person has to be, has to prove themselves in some sort of way, saying that, I have been off of parole, I've been off of probation, I've been clean, I've been working toward, living properly. So, for misdemeanors, to seal all your misdemeanors, it would be a year off of paper. You can't be on parole or anything like that, and then your records would be automatically sealed. Meaning that if an employer wants to hire you and it wants to do a background check, those convictions will not be visible or revealed to them. They would be sealed. And to have them expunged, which means that they will be gone from your record. It would be 3 years for misdemeanor and 7 years. 1 year for misdemeanor and 3 years for a felony for sealing. And expungement means that these things will be removed from your record, and it would be 3 years and 7 years respectively for a misdemeanor and a felony. Now these things are vital, and New York is not creating the wheel. This legislation, this type of progressive legislation has been enacted in other states across the country, and it has leveled the playing field and made a fairer situation for people who have been faced with these barriers to employment and especially housing. So I want to thank you for that time, but I want to thank everybody for in advance for calling these legislators and letting them know that clean slate needs to be passed now. This legislation, this legislative session, and we need to get it done in 21. Let them know. Get it done in 21.
I like that. Yes. That's powerful because it's so needed, and so many of our people, are stuck with, this disenfranchisement, right, of not being able to vote, can't get their apartment or home, like you said, loan, and can't even get back in public housing and so forth. Anything you want to ask, I guess, before you?
I'd like to say, are you getting any opposition? Are these elected officials not really looking to do this? Because this seems like common sense. This does not seem like something that anybody should really think that hard about. Like, why wouldn't you do it? So, are you getting opposition, or are the elected officials going along with what they should be doing here?
Well, I'm going to say that there's always opposition, right? Whenever you try to pass some progressive legislation that's going to level the playing field for Black and brown people, there's always going to be some opposition, right? So we do have opposition, yes, and but the thing about it is this legislation is no brainer. It's not hurting anybody. What it is helping people to re-enter, to reintegrate, and to be completely immersed into our society fiscally and every other way. But like anything, like I said, there's always some opposition, and people take things the wrong way. And I get questions like this all the time. Well, what about public safety? What about somebody if we need to know who they are, right? Well, there are mechanisms in that as well, And like I said, this is not for somebody just coming out trying to get a free ride. These are people who have been proven themselves to be supportive of their families and their communities, and have earned the right to be fully integrated into our society. But they're always bringing up this public safety thing, and I tell them, and they talk about, well, we need more police and things around that. I would say, you know what? The safest communities are not the over police communities. The safest communities are the communities that have resources. And what better resources could there be than a person being able to provide for themselves and their families? And I tell them, there are mechanisms. If a person is trying to get a job in let's say law enforcement or child care, things like that, these background checks will still be available to them. And then they tell me, oh, well, what about a driver, a simple driver? Well, you know what? The DMV keeps abstracts of that. You can find out somebody's driving record without going to do a criminal background check. So, there are mechanisms, and people are always trying to punch holes in it. But the thing about it is this is no-nonsense legislation. It has gained a lot of momentum in the Assembly and in the Senate. And we believe that with just a little bit more push, the push from people that's listening to this podcast right now, that will call our Assembly members, that will call our senators and say, hey, push this past the finish line, we can get it done this year.
Amen.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen. Powerful.
I agree.
I'm in total support of that. Folks need a second chance, a clean slate. They've done their time. They shouldn't be punished for the rest of your life for something that you might have done. That makes no sense. I agree 100% with you. It makes perfect sense to me.
You have my support. I tell you that one. I mean, I'm one person that actually can agree with. People should have a second chance. I mean, especially by these judges that sit in God we trust.
Yeah.
Heard that.
Don't go there.
Preach.
I believe that everybody deserves a second chance. I mean, this system's supposed to be about rehabilitation instead of retribution. I always say that.
Got a young warrior here.
But I want to ask. I mean, I agree with it 100%. But what about people that actually that's incarcerated that don't have the chance of coming home at all? Like I know people per se that actually have the eligibility of parole in the month 99, the day 99, and the year 9999. That's never going to come. I mean, there's no such thing as a month 99 anyway. So I mean, that means they not eligible for parole at all. I mean, and is that even some sort of rehabilitation if they can't have the opportunity to come home?
And Mike, can I talk to that, Mike?
Right. Yeah.
I'd be happy to. At CCA, right? Clean Slate is just one of the initiatives that we're working on. The other one is Parole Justice, right? Which covers fair and timely parole and elder parole, right? And you're right. These are like life sentences. These life sentences without parole have been disproportionately handed down to Black people, Black and brown people in our communities. Now, the overall population of New York State's prisons has decreased. But what's interesting about that, it is the same demographic. The same people are being incarcerated, right? And the majority of those people are Black and brown people from 7 neighborhoods in New York City, 7 underprivileged, underpowered, and overpoliced neighborhoods, right? That make up almost 90% of the people who have been incarcerated in this city. So. Parole is just one of those issues, right? Where we are fighting to make sure that people do have the opportunity to get parole and to end the cycle of death by incarceration. So that's another issue that we're fighting for as well as CCA.
Wow.
That's powerful, brother. We wish you all the best in your work. Glad to have you on this platform to share it. It sounds like common sense legislation to me.
Yeah, it's simple.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And don't forget, call those legislators. Get this passed. Get it done in 21. I'm
going to tag you, share the video with you, and so you can engage with the people, the viewership. And also, if you could shoot me an email with the script, because I could craft the call to action for tomorrow night. I was going to do it for tonight, but I'll make sure it's for Monday night, and we'll do it Monday, Tuesday, and I think it was the 10th on Wednesday. When is the 10th? What day is? Because it's 4 more days, or is it Thursday? Okay, so I'll make sure it's a call. I'll make sure it's a call to action every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, up to the day of legislation. Okay, at UES for BLM, and Stan, you could share it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll send it to. I'll consider it to Seeker. We have a couple of movements, and groups that we can send it to. For people to call, because one thing we like to do as activists and organizers is we love a good call to action, and we know how to make it happen. That's part of organizing and activism, a call to action, and this is a powerful one because it's guaranteeing proper reentry for our brothers and sisters that are coming home and giving them a chance to have a sustainable life again. If you served your time, you shouldn't have to come out and be stuck with all these doors that's closed in your face. They deserve to come home and, be viable again, viable to their family.
Thank you so much, my sister. I appreciate you. So I'm gonna sign off now. But before I go, I got one thing to say to my brother. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm loving all
Love it. We'll see you soon, okay? We're gonna have you back on. We want to hear about more the work you're doing.
Absolutely.
Gotta stay in contact.
Thank you. Thank
Keep
you.
you updated on the vote, so let's see
Yeah.
if it passes.
Okay.
We can do it.
All right.
Peace, everyone. Peace.
Bless you.
God
Thank
bless.
you, brother. All right.
So now we have
Oh, I just want to hit the chat room real quick. Big shout out to Michelle Graham. She said, "What's poppin'?" So that's Mitchell Graham. Sorry, Mitchell Graham. What's poppin', brother? We hanging in there.
Yeah.
All right. So what we got going on, Stan?
Yeah, so we have a city council candidate, I believe, from the Canarsie section of Brooklyn. Met up with my friend Quasar, who's a part of the Urban Knights, and definitely wanted to have her come on the show and speak about her agenda for NYCHA. What NYCHA developments would you be representing when you're there, and just want to hear your platform. What is your platform, and what do you want to say to our viewership?
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. My name is Mercedes Narcisse, and yet I am a candidate for New York City Council District 46, which cover Canarsie, Flatlands, Bergen Beach, Mill Basin, Mill Island, Marine Park, Garrison Beach, and Chipstead Bay. The two area that I cover, it's Bayview houses and Chipstead Bay.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with the houses, by the way, because as a nurse for over 30 years, been in NYCHA houses serving the seniors and anyone else that needed my help as a visiting nurse services. What to say about NYCHA? Bothers me every morning, every time I have to go in, seeing the disrespect that attached with NYCHA.
Mm-hmm.
The disrespect, the it's not a way that we're supposed to treat another human being. That's the way I see NYCHA.
Exactly.
When it was created, it's supposed to be a place where you can have a decent life, a clean, respectful place, just like every other places that they deserve to have services. And NYCHA don't have the services right there. And we have professional in NYCHA, many professional in NYCHA.
Yes. Yes.
It is so unfortunate that when it comes to us living in places, they feel like it's just like they can do whatever they want. They're not addressing the issues. And we're talking about for years.
Right. Decades. Decades.
For decades. And ever since the formation of NYCHA back in 1937, what have they done actually for NYCHA houses? And when even right now, I'm saying to myself, how in all these years that we've been elected people over and over, and no one wants to address real issue of NYCHA.
Right.
And as a reentry nurse, listening to my client having a hard time just because whatever the issue may be, minor things,
right?
With marijuana and all, they cannot even come back to NYCHA houses.
Right. Fix what he was talking
it's
about.
It's heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, heartbreaking for me. So I have a lot of different issues that need to be addressed, and with my with the support of others that have been doing the work, and I have a lot of friends that live in NYCHA. I believe greatly that will make some changes, will move the needle. It is a federal, but yet as a city person, as a city council member, we have the voice, we have the ability, we can amplify, we can right now when they call me for cabinet falling, I take videos and I'm looking, if you see a tape that I have, NYCHA is very important to me. That's the reason I'm here.
Wow.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Sandra, one of the co-hosts, and welcome again to the show. With the history of public housing, because we know it derives from the tenements, and we know that originally it was Caucasian people that actually were moving into the first buildings and so forth. And then we know that the white flight took place, and then more black and brown people moved into public housing, not just in New York City, but throughout the country. And that's when we seen the disinvestment. So as a city council, member of the city council, how would you help combat some of this systemic issues with public housing, from even some of their policies have to be challenged? You know, like the letter, the call letter that they sent out. They have a caption on there that says, is it non-desirability? Non-desirable. That's a racist term.
Absolutely.
And I spoke about it with Councilmember Ben Kalos at his first Friday, and it's something that I want to work on the challenge, but I know he'll be on his way out. And if you get elected, you'll be on your way in, because we have to not just change the way they treat us, we have to change the way their documents read. You know what I mean? That's systemic. That's a racist term.
Yeah. Yes.
But go ahead. How would you be able to help the residents?
We need to eradicate any term that is not for our progress. Mm-hmm. Anything, any wording, we have to pay attention. What I have learned through Malcolm X,
all right,
is we have to learn, when people say word, and we have people in place that can change the word.
Right.
And the wording mean a lot. It can, when we're talking about systemic racism, this is how it's sitting. We accept one word, and the next things it becomes a whole sentence and a whole paragraph, and your life's changed.
Exactly.
Your life turned. And it's for years, for decades, before we can eradicate those words and change the legislation in place. So I'm here to serve in every capacity I can. And one of the things that I'm looking forward to expand right to counsel, to explain to people what they have, what's their right in the system is, and trying to get lawyers, legal services to expand them in our myth, because a lot of people don't even know they're right, even in Nycha.
Right.
So we need more legal services to come around our area, for which I have to, I'm gonna push for mobile units. In the meanwhile, while we collaboratively put things in Nycha, we have to use the space in Nycha. We have to build Nycha out. First, we have to clean Nycha.
Yes.
We have to clean the garbage, the things that in Nycha got to go. The lead paint, we know about the lead paint for decades as well.
Yeah.
And everybody talk about it, and lead paint still existing in Nycha.
Exactly.
Today, and affecting our children, mental capacity.
And adults.
Absolutely.
Adults too. Yeah.
Course.
A lot of people.
Adults.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sadly.
So that got to be done.
Yeah.
And pick up garbage is going to be a must. It has to be done in a cycle. And then we need to have transparency, the plan, when to pick up, how it happened, and making sure the disposition of, when you disposal of garbage should not be in the hallway. And the cleaning have to have a cleaning plan with transparency to know how often they clean the hallway. Don't blame the people while you pick up garbage like every 2 weeks.
Right.
And then you don't clean, you clean whenever you want. How many staff on really actually cleaning?
Right.
What's the housing, the housing, the cleanliness, the clean staff? How many do you actually have? Don't tell me you clean whenever you feel like. And if you have one staff cleaning the whole of one building, it's not going to happen.
That's
right.
So those are the things that we have to be clear about. And another thing I'm looking forward to do is to work with the tenants themselves to know that they have the right to speak. When I visited Nycha about, I think I was in the building about 2 weeks ago.
What development?
One of the parents afraid of talking because they're going to retaliate against her.
Right.
That's America we're talking about. So how a tenant, because speaking the truth of her kids don't even have no place to go.
Right.
And then you don't want them to run the staircase to play. And the center that's supposed to be inside Nycha. We can have the city within Nycha, and everything can be functional within Nycha. We're talking about public health is a problem for me. We don't have no centers in there within Nycha.
Yeah,
People
they
don't have
closed
no
them.
direct transportation access to get to the clinics or to the hospital that serve us. And they were way underfunded anyway.
Right.
We need to have fun for that. And then we can have them right here, in Nycha houses.
Yeah.
We can have sports for our children.
Yes.
You're right. Yes. And years ago, because I grew up in McKinley houses, and Forest houses is across the street, and they had a health station. They have closed all of the health stations down, and I'm pretty sure they're probably still there. I know you all in Queensbridge
has one, but Ravenswood doesn't. I don't think Astoria houses
and it's just horrible. That's where I got my immunizations from, and so and you could take your child there, and it was, you didn't have to pay car fare. We walked across the street, and they did all of this, and everything is about funding. So what we need is, city council members, because we know so many are leaving, and they call it the rookies are coming in. You know, a lot of new council members. But it's what it is, right?
It is what it is.
You know, that's what y'all will be called. Some of y'all that are coming in, but we're hoping that y'all could come in and make a big impact for, you know, public housing. You know, help stir some funding. Help, you know, like Councilman Ben Kalos actually paid for our attorneys when we sued Nycha. You know, we have we have a legal clinic at his, you know, disposal. We have counsel that we can see, the right to counsel and all that. So, and I don't know what every other city council member is doing, but, you know, I think everybody can kind of model and perfect what's already in place and even make it better for the residents. And I would say too, a great constituent services is very essential. You know, that's very essential. And you know, because you want to be able to, I understand people want to always have the number to your council member, but sometimes that's not going to happen. But I want to be able to call that office and get some responses back. And that's very important. Okay, Stan.
So, I used to work for a senator, and that's what I used to do, community liaison.
Okay.
And I believe in the service. And as a matter of fact, even though he's not in office anymore, John Sampson, the office is known for services. We're always in Nycha houses. Not only as a nurse, I had to be in Nycha houses. As working for him, he covered Bayview and Nostrand. So I had to be there all the time, talking to the people, listen and give them guidance, because some of the things can be federal, but you can give people guidance, a path where they can do where they can get the access they need.
Exactly.
So for me, it's building up support for the children too. That's very important. We need to engage our children, because when we're talking about crime going back, it's a lack of services. We can scale them. Not everyone can be a doctor. Vocational school can be placed in the school that's right there by Nycha houses. Make it accessible. Making the parents engaged, doing workshop, uplift each other. And then making sure the city, the legislation that we're putting in place is not putting us down, but uplift us as well. Awesome. And whatever the funding, the budget that we need to put. That's why I love being in the midst of people that understand what's going on. It's not that we talking about people are racist against us in total, but the racism approach that they have that put up in the box has to stop.
Right.
Yes. So now we had a big victory this past week in terms of fighting against the privatization of Nycha with the blueprint. So we would like to know what is your position on the privatization of Nycha? We here feel that it should remain public and they should be fully funded, and we don't want the blueprint or RAD or any of those privatization schemes. But what is your thought? Infill or any of that? So what's your position?
Go ahead.
No. What's your Nycha
is the only affordable houses that we have right now.
Yep. Only.
So we cannot afford to make it private. Anything that's private, we out.
Right.
And when I mean we out, we the one that's in the panel that's out. Our folks are out. Yeah. And we cannot afford that. We need to increase, make sure the whatever the funding that we need to put in place, working with my colleagues in government, federal level, the state level, to make sure that we keep the Section 8 moving up, not down, to keep up with the market, to keep people in the place. But with our responsibility, we owe it to our community. When the parents cannot or someone cannot, that's the time to uplift them, not putting our foot or our knee on their neck. And that's what I'm looking. I'm so excited for the opportunity, because a lot of things we're not talking, we're not addressing, we don't want to touch it for whatever the reason. We have to talk about it. We have to make sure that legislation that goes, whether in the city level, the state level, the federal level, it's to to support us, to uplift us.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm here.
That's a fact.
That can make the difference.
Nycha is the only affordable.
Only true affordable, 30%, yeah.
So now,
no roommate needed, as I like to say. No roommate needed, because that's how a lot of people are living throughout the city. They're bungled up with people because they can't afford. They're splitting the rent. You know, or buy 3 or 2. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But there you could be on your own.
That's right. I have parents right now, people that have 4 children. They have their mother-in-law, father-in-law in 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
And we know overcrowded. What happened with COVID?
Yeah.
COVID-19 was overcrowded. That's why Nycha, so many of our people end up, die because of the space they don't have.
Right.
Before we come up with the hotel plan, in the meanwhile, people were infected each other
Right.
because
Right.
of the space.
Yeah.
So
It's
now,
going right back to the history, history of tenements. That's why Nycha was built,
Right.
because it was no light. It was overcrowding in the tenements, and that's why Nycha Public House was built. Yeah, yeah.
bad infested and all of that.
Yeah. And it's taking us back now.
Yeah, we're going backwards.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So
And
now,
we cannot afford to go backward.
Right.
After George Floyd era, all this open our eyes, and we have to stay on it, at
That's
it,
right.
for the changes that we want to make in our community.
Preach.
Yeah.
So now the
They
homeless-
highlighted the problems that we've been facing.
so now the homeless crisis is definitely on the rise as well. So what would you do to address the homeless crisis in your district?
20% set aside for the homeless. Definitely. We cannot even afford 15. We need to increase it because we see what's happened with the gap that we're having. We're talking about, when we talk about an income gap, the pandemic really highlighted the problem that we've been facing. So now we need 20% set aside, and any new development that coming to our community have to know that. And then we have to, AMI have to reflect our community.
There you go.
Yeah.
Every 5 years,
There you go.
reassess.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
It's not fair.
We have to reassess things. We cannot put things in the book for years because you're serving the lower income individual. The lower income individual want to come out of lower income individual. I haven't seen anyone that told me they want to stay in the lower income.
Right.
I'm trying to get out.
Yeah.
Nah, but it's
True.
I like everything she's saying.
And is there any other things you want to highlight from your platform? Education? Any other issues you want to bring to the forefront?
Healthcare, preventive care. I have been doing it with small resources that I have. My husband is a gastroenterologist. We've been doing health fair. We're doing different things. I reach out to Nycha houses. I'm always in there giving flyers, trying to get people to my place. So you can ask them. I'm always there. You want to come for a health fair? Let's go. And encourage the kids thinking about, and now more than ever, we need to make sure that we have farmers market coming by Nycha houses because we can benefit from it.
We have it on the Upper East Side. You know why? Our public housing, it's there, but
Right, but not everywhere else.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
have it.
We know what's going on. Like I tell people, I know what time is it. I've been around it long enough. So now we need to have farmers market. We need to educate our children. And as a single mom, at one point of my life, I had to cook for my kids with $10. So we need to have the workshop talking about the parents, the importance of cooking for their kids instead of sending them to McDonald's, getting the food that they should not be getting. I'm not knocking no fast food. Sometimes you have to do it, but we should not raising our kids because we cannot afford this. We have to have farmers market, make it easier. Having voucher, food stamp should not be something attached with stigma because sometimes you have you need a little break to get yourself up.
Right.
Those are all the things that we need to have the real conversation around it. And you're gonna see me in Nycha day in and day out because like I tell people, I'm starting from the bottom up. And
environmental justice.
Yes.
Yeah. Just talking about environmental justice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful. Yeah.
Now, how can folks donate to your campaign? How can people donate and support?
www.mercedesfornyc.com. That's my website. And our phone number is 347-455-2119. And I'm excited for the opportunity. Like I told all my young men in Nycha houses, we're gonna have real conversation. And during campaign, my manager, Dr. Zolima Blair, which is a professor at Mega, we go over there with our website, with our computer, laptop, trying to get our young men know there is action. You can vote, you can make your voice be heard. Don't let people, tell you this is where you belong. You belong where you want to belong. Right. We're going to have to do it together. And when I get there, believe me, they listen to me because they realize, this coming from a place of love. I'm not here to put you down. I'm here to work with you. And that's why we need more in government. Government that has to be run by the people for the people. We can collaboratively work together.
There you go.
Great.
You're talking the talk. That's good. I like it.
Well, sounds
been doing it. And I have learned because I don't come with a silver spoon. I have to work 3 jobs and trying to provide for my children. Like I said, there's one time I had to put them, on a strict diet before they knew it, because I had to cook, every night and trying to make it the best I can to survive it.
Right.
Because economically, you have to make sense with yourself. Know where, like my grandmother would say, know where to put your bag, to hang your bag. When you cannot hang it, you have to struggle and hustle. And I know the struggles. I live the struggles. It's not new to me. And that's the reason that whenever I get in Nycha, when I see that, as a nurse, I used to get very upset, because I'm saying, like, this is my people. This is where I belong. This is where I can relate. And look at this.
Yeah.
And I'm here. I'm excited. And we're gonna clean Nycha. If it, like I tell, I'm gonna start with my own broom and let them know this is how we want.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's the
I
first
like
time
that.
I heard
I like that.
That's great. That's great.
And it would be a blessing too for you to be in that class, that rookie class, and get elected, because as a nurse, you know about empathy, right? So that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Like you just said, I'm going to come in with my broom, but because of your background, your medical background as a nurse, as a professional, you're going to bring a whole different lens for people to see through, for public housing as well as the city, right? And you will be an asset, not just to Nycha, but throughout the whole city. Have
Absolutely.
us eating better and living better, looking better. Health is life. Yeah.
Everything.
Awesome.
When during the height of the pandemic, when I was delivering food and trying to do my best, and I started taking my broom too, get my team to clean up all the area by Nycha houses, the strip mall that was right across. It was so dirty. I could create the team, and we keep going there and cleaning myself. I start with the broom myself. Like I tell people, you cannot tell me I'm cleaning. We all got to clean. Let's clean.
Wow.
So
did management push back on that? Did management push back on you out there cleaning?
No, I was cleaning at the front part, and I didn't go inside of the Nycha. And we did all the strip mall where people, folks from Nycha cross over to shop.
Okay.
And it was dirty. It was filthy. You know how many people called me to tell me thank you?
Wow.
And then I go to Nycha complaining to them. And I say, if they don't clean, I'm gonna call 311 on them, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I get them to pick up some of the garbage, because it was piling up.
Yeah. Because
And the thing is the pandemic. Yes, we are in the pandemic, but we don't have to be under all the garbage.
Right.
Because during Earth Week, we were out there picking up for a couple of hours garbage on the grounds, and management was upset that residents and groups of us was out there with our garbage bag cleaning up on a Monday.
Insanity.
Yeah.
Insanity.
And guess what? When I'm elected, they're not gonna be able to be upset with me, because they gotta do their job. If they let me come in with my broom, that's mean you're not doing your job.
Facts. Wow.
Wow. Okay. Is there any last comments before we sign off? Anything you want to say? Closing remarks to the viewership.
What I'm saying is the people, the folks that live in Nycha, just need a little uplift, a little hand. Let's do the right thing by the folks that live in Nycha, because we could have been there. And it just, we get different opportunity, and we need to create more opportunity for others. We need to keep the doors open. And that's what I'm here. And I'm here to serve not only Nycha houses. I believe in general, our children need opportunity for good sport, good academic programs after school, and making sure that our children have the right nutrition when it comes to their meal in the school. That's how we can make the difference and encourage them to participate more in the classroom. We need the class size not to be packing our children, but to make it a class where the teachers can function and making sure giving the attention that needed to our children. So I'm here to serve. And in terms of education, I greatly believe that's the opportunity for most of us, because we're not millionaires or billionaires. Pushing for more opportunity for our children to know how to get to college. If they don't want to go to college, how we can get skilled and reskill, and how to get vocational school within our school building, creating opportunity. And I truly believe our kids are very smart. I raised 4 myself, And I know that for a fact, and I raise all around all my blocks. So we have a chance to do the right thing. And once the children educated well, they're going to go back home, and they will not take and accept anything that people give them, but they will create their ways and they will make sure that it's clean. So we're going to do it together in Nycha.
Awesome.
We're going to do it together in our community. I'm here to serve, and I'm looking for the opportunity. And on June 12th, which is Saturday coming, will be a primary election starting early voting. I'm praying that everybody understands and can check me out. My record stands for itself and speaks for itself. My path of working and doing things in the community, whether it's Sandy, Irene, I never forget where I came from. So that's where I always fully participate. So I'm looking forward for the vote on June 12th to the 20th, all the way to the 20th and 22nd is the day off.
Right.
And I'm looking to be the next city council member and not to be standing for power, but I believe in the government for the people, by the people. So let's do it together. We can
Powerful.
do it. I believe in it.
Woo!
Wow. Okay.
You closed that down right.
That was great. That was great.
Great to have you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
for coming on. And
Please comment in the comment section, and share the video, and we'll follow back up with you down
after
the road.
you win, we're gonna want you to come back on,
Of course,
and talk about your work.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
Wow. Powerful show today.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed today's
Yeah,
show.
we hit two
That's
good
the first time. Did we do
topics.
that?
Yeah.
That's the first time we never did
Yeah.
that before, right?
No, it was a good split.
Yeah.
It was a good split.
Worked
So
out
you
well.
guys ready to punch out?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Everybody-
Any hint for next week?
do y'all want to know?
We did a little hint.
I just somebody's
Little
locked
taste.
and loaded.
You gotta say it. You gonna
Somebody's
say it?
locked
A little
and loaded.
taste.
Somebody is locked and loaded. And just keep in prayer that they stay with us, but it's locked and confirmed. Chuck Schumer will be on next week.
Chuck Schumer,
Senator.
Senator Chuck
My
Schumer.
man Chuck?
Yeah.
That's national now.
Not
That puts us on a national platform.
Whoa!
That's big. That's big.
We're getting music and
That's good.
everything.
All right, wow.
That's big.
They've been locked in. That's the date they said. So
Okay, well, you know what? Big deal.
one night, you one people.
One night,
Yeah.
you want people, you always going to
We
punch
ready to
out.
lift
All
off.
right,
Thank you
yes.
for tuning in.
All right.